XFS Elite, of course, Grandmaster.
Is he Grandmaster too?
I don't think so, but I think he's high up there. I think he's Diamond or Masters, if I remember correctly.
Alright, well, we'll go ahead and get
He might not be, actually. I don't remember.
He might not. I actually don't know. In the bottom left-hand corner of Daybreak, we have the green Terran Jagro. He says he's Bronze Elite. He has not played any 1v1 Obs games. He's been in one game previously, but has not participated yet. He'll be up against XFS Elite as the blue Terran in the top right-hand corner. XFS Elite says he's Grandmaster. He is 20-32 in Obs play. 38.5% win-loss ratio, and XFS Elite says no sniping. And indeed, it's still overlaid, so I can't see anything. Okay.
I was about to say.
Second. There we go.
Awesome. Excellent.
Everything is all better. But that being said, XFS Elite versus Jagro, I don't really know what is sniping. Sniping is...
I think because we're streaming.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Stream on. But yeah, honestly, I feel like if you want to cheat in Obs, then you got bigger problems than.
if you're so try hard about winning that you're cheating in Obs.
I have to win. I have to win right now.
Then go play ladder.
So TBT is honestly my favorite mirror matchup. No. Don't worry about it.
I'm just gonna say that. Don't inform him anymore. Alright, we got the first scout coming in from Jagro. And
TBT it's such a fun mirror matchup. I don't know. Yep.
Oops.
There we go. Okay.
Alright, now that we've got that all out of the way.
That whole thing out of the way. But seriously, stream is not up. Is the stream not working?
Pull up stream. It's just Joe. Don't trust him.
No, you're not. Why would you get it? Okay, well, I'm not gonna go ahead and talk about that anymore, because that's just great. But anyway, TBT favorite mirror matchup because it's probably got the most chess-like feel to it, where the positioning of siege tanks matters the most in the game, and it's not. And this is oversimplifying ZVZ and PvP. But it feels like in PvP, it's whoever has the most Colossus wins, and that's not necessarily true. And in ZVZ, it's let's just get Roach, Hydra, and Fester, and then just win. And whoever has the better composition there, or whoever wins a Ling Bang knife fight at the beginning of the game wins the game. And I like TVT better because it feels like there's more strategy involved, but I'm biased. So as a Protoss player, I mean, what is your opinion? What's your favorite mirror matchup?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that like everyone's favorite mirror matchup is TVT, just in terms of a spectator. I like watching PvP a lot because I also am biased, and also because the micro makes such a big deal that it's really interesting to see like just how the builds develop, and like I love watching Blink Stalker and War Prism play and that kind of stuff. You know, High Templar sniping things with feedbacks is a lot of fun to watch. But we do have the command center after the rack, so it's a one Ras Factory spam from Jagro? Let's call him Jagro. And then XFS Elite, of course, went with the command center first, I believe. Very, very greedy expansion, so his orbital command is already about halfway done. I'm actually going to turn my audio down just a smidgen, because it's a little loud.
One thing to take note of, and we're probably going to see some... Yeah, there's a factory, so probably a 1-on-1 from Elite. He's got those gases real early, and he got the orbital early as well. So even though he's going to be doing this a little aggressive play, he's going to have more income for just a little bit of time. And you can see he's got the watchtower, and there's no aggression coming from Jagro at all. And he's going to bunker up, stay at home, make some barracks, and just make a shit ton of Marines and see what works out. I feel like this is going to be better for XFS Elite because I don't think that Jagro really... See, this is what I hate about this. Can I look at this? I can't tell, but I don't think Jagro ever really got any good scouting done.
No, he did not. His initial SCV. Okay, there was a scan right there, but I don't think that scan will actually reveal the starport. Let me take a look here.
I think that he should be able to. I mean, theoretically, off of if you see that 2 gas. Well, I guess he.
Hard to say.
It's kind of weird because he could have put those gases up later, but I feel like if you look at the amount of gas that's in those geysers compared to his own, you should be able to tell. But that's some pretty high, like generally speaking, unless you're like masters level or a really high diamond. I don't know many people who actually check the gas geysers.
And look at this, Viking first. Is that standard out of a 1-1-1 like this?
Well, it is because you want to have air superiority for your tanks. Because the Vikings are going to give you the vision that's necessary to siege up this bunker, to siege up this high ground vision. Because if you just get a medevac, or even if you get a Banshee, one Viking can shut your 1-1 down. Theoretically speaking. Now, Jagro is actually, the way that Jagro is playing this, he's not going to have siege mode for a long time, and he's nowhere near a starport. And he's going to stem out really early, but the stems will damage all of his Marines, obviously, a little too much. And against the 1-1-1, siege mode is key here, and he's just not going to have it against this really nice timing. I assume Elite's going to move out any time now. And you can even look in the supply in this mirror matchup. The macro has just been better for Elite too. So not only the army and the attack is better, but he also has 7 more workers, and he had the orbital command up just a little sooner. So he's made more money over the course of this game as well. And we see that Jagro is making turrets in these corners, and that'd be great if this was a Banshee play. But the Banshees will never come. And what likely will happen is, as we see, we're just seeing some light scouting from Elite, but I would imagine that at some point I would like Elite to push out, just see if he can poke at this front, and then be in trouble. But it looks like he's more interested in playing this defensively, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't actually look like he's really gearing up. Like, he's got these tanks sieged defensively, and I was kind of expecting to see some early aggression with this build, simply because the 1-on-1 is so good at taking out people that, like Jagro, have not built an earlier starport. And it looks like he's just going to be satisfied to sit back and home with it, which is honestly a little bit surprising. And there's the scout from Jagro, who's going to see all of these buildings lined up, and he's going to know exactly what's coming, or exactly what was built, but he doesn't know when it's going to be a push or any kind of aggression like that.
I feel like even though this wasn't a big timing push, and he's going to actually move these Marines up aggressively just to try to get some map control, maybe grab the Zelnaga and run back. XFS Elite is. Well, the macro for Elite has been a little better all game, and you can tell, even though his +1 attack is a little bit behind Jagro's, he's going to get 1-1 in total a little bit sooner, and I think that the armory is already coming down, so if we don't have the armory down, we actually have the second engineering bay down, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can stay on top of their upgrades. Jagro, though, you can just look at the minerals, he just can't spend his money. He's been supply blocked for a long time, too.
And that's definitely a rarity to see a Terran that can't spend the minerals as opposed to a Terran that can't spend the gas.
I'm going to skim those Marines at the Zelnaga Tower. I think that was a little bit of an overreaction. He's gonna pick up and get into the base. If he goes into the base, he may do some damage, but this is actually really nice because usually the way that I see this Viking played is you use it for the high ground vision, but instead he's using it for drop defense, and the Viking's going to scout, and he's already seen these medevacs, and this Viking is right in position to snipe one. I don't know if it can do enough damage. Oh yeah, he'll get one. He'll
be able to definitely knock one of these out. It might actually land a couple of Marines. And there's...
I think he could have microed that a little better. He's still going to lose a lot of workers, but he lost his entire aggressive force, and now he's going to...
that was right into that tank fire there, actually. So he will actually, he's going to lose that missile turret, and he will take a few worker losses here. He lost 6 workers in that engagement before having to pull the rest of them, so some damage was definitely done, but the tank was able to clean up a lot of that.
No, but the thing is that the third is already down for Elite, and his macro has been better all game. He has 2-2 started before, plus 1 armor is even finished for Jagro. That timing for that second armor is way behind. The attack isn't too terribly behind, but that armor upgrade will make a difference. Just being a little bit ahead can make a lot of difference in these fights. Combat is a little bit behind for XFS Elite, but he has, look at these barracks, the production that he has compared to the amount of minerals that Jagro is floating. This is just a difference in class right here at this point.
Right, this is definitely a discrepancy in League. Jagro may very well be a Bronze League player, just based on the minerals here. Don't want to make any kind of like assumptions or anything, but we just see that, you know, XFS Elite is just on top of everything in terms of macro, in terms of the micro, and the playmaking and the decision making. So we'll see exactly if Jagro is able to keep into this game. Maybe some more drops can do a little bit more damage than that. It looks like he's gearing up for another one now. Okay, no, I'm sorry. That was actually just a bunker full of units. But he really needs to go ahead and work on his production and make those supply depots.
And I think that what I would love to see from XFS Elite is some kind of drop play, just some kind of aggressive push, because even a little bit of damage done against Jagro is going to put him so far behind. This is still a winnable game for Jagro, assuming that XFS Elite leaves him alone, but he is so far behind. He needs to be the aggressor. He needs to make something happen. And so if Elite just pushes him a little bit and he topples, I think if one small drop, like 2 medevac drops, could almost end it.
I wouldn't
not
be
even
surprised.
a full commitment to the army.
And look at this. You can just see XFS Elite is getting all of the map vision with just a couple of Marines. Such a good play there. He's got almost all of the bases and attack routes covered with vision of either the watchtowers or the Marines. A really nice play there just to kind of secure all of the vision and all of the information that you need to make your playmaking, and that's how come he feels safe taking this 4th base. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and move out with these Marines and tanks and probably just kind of set up a contain, if not win the game outright.
That'll definitely... I feel like there's not really anything that Jagro can do at this point to take care of this big discrepancy in army size and in macro, because even if this entire army were to die, XFS Elite would not be in a completely terrible situation because he has this 4th base coming up, because he has so many SCVs. If you look at the SCV count, he's even sacking SCVs because he feels like he has too many, and that's a good call. He's going to have a little bit more army supply. And it's I don't know what else to say about this except this is the beginning of the end. There's nothing at this point Jagro can do. He's sieged up the Zelnaga watchtower. The air control is in his hands. The tank count's in his hands. The upgrade count is in his hands, and the marine count is in his hands. There's nothing that Jagro can do at this point except for pray.
He's literally got 6 hands, guys. I don't know if you heard about it, but Mendo's got the actual doctor's note about that. And we do have this 4th is done and completed. Jagro is still just on 2 base. He's got the trust fund in at home. He's got tons and tons of idle SCVs at all these barracks and starports and everything. So
the SCVs are actually striking. Their wages are not quite high enough. I'm right there with them. They need to be paid at least a double what they're doing, considering the very dangerous work environment that they do.
Well, you know, at a corporate level, man, it's mules. Mules are just automated. They do the job a little bit better, and all they cost is energy. It's hard. It's hard to be an SCV right now. So I think the SCVs
got families.
Destroy the mule
Mule
technology.
don't got no families, man. SCV's got to pay the bills.
I don't know. I think SCVs need to try to destroy mules for the betterment of all StarCraft.
Sieging up at the bottom of this rim, and he's just going to leapfrog his way forward. Honestly, I feel like he could even just charge up. There is no sieged tanks. He has siege tanks, but none of them are sieged.
And I believe all he's going to do...
and run.
I'm pretty sure that's all that really needs to happen. It looks like he's going to go ahead and try to leapfrog some of these tanks, but...
He's just going to unsiege all of them, and then run them all forward, siege them in range, and then be done with this game.
Jagro is once again supply blocked. There comes the first wave.
But that's GG. And finally the battle that we all knew was happening. Siege to siege. A little too late. Just a smidgen too late. And, you know, Jagro did not play poorly for his level at all. If he's Bronze League, that's not bad Bronze League play at all. It's probably close to silver. But XFS Elite is just a little bit better, and there's just nothing he could do about it. I'm going to open up to the chat, by the way, because I actually realized I didn't have that open. So
that was just a simple example of what happens when you're a lower league than your opponents. But look at Jagro hopping right back into the player pool. So that is a sign of somebody who wants to really advance. But of course he won't be able to play because he played last game. And it is going to be a match of Wayside versus XFS Elite. XFS Elite, of course, a regular on the stream. He's been around for a couple of days now. I believe I streamed him by myself the other night. And I'll go ahead and take these introductions. We've got the Orange Terran Wayside in the top position. And he states that he is in Masters League. He's got a 10-4 wins in Observers with a 71.4% win rate. Not a lot, not really a very large sample size there, but that win rate is pretty awesome. And in the bottom, as the Blue Terran, we have XFS Elite. Of course, he is 21-32 in the Obs. States that he's Grandmaster League. I don't know. Who knows? But that is going to be the game here, and it is another TVT. So, as you said earlier, it is your favorite mirror matchup.
No, and I forget, is Elite the one who's Swedish or Swiss?
Man,
is he the European? I forget which one that was, because that guy was pretty cool.
That is a good question, because I think XFS Elite may have been around the day that we had Linto Mello, the Grandmaster Protoss in the Obs game, but I honestly do not remember. I'd have to go through my archives and see exactly who that was. But XFS Elite, he plays real well, man. He's got some good games so far. He will be doing what looks to be just the barracks first here, so no command center first or anything like that. Similar builds for both of our players, and yes, I will remember to pull up my production tab. I promise. I was testing
Speedy, over Speedy, that's who it was. Thank you, Ace.
That is correct. Ace, of course, on top of all of the forgetful things that we forget.
And we see a reactor coming out from XFS Elite, so he's going to get the gas immediately after he actually grabbed both gases early on in this match last game for that 1-1-1, the defensive 1-1-1. No gas yet for Wayside. That's probably going to indicate an expansion going to be dropped pretty soon, and I think that's the safer play, assuming that you're not going to do any kind of early aggression. I feel like if Elite does that same 1-on-1 style build, and he didn't get the second gas, so I actually don't know if that'll be the case. But if he goes for a similar build, if he doesn't do it, because look, the expansion timing for Wayside will be just a little bit sooner, and that'll give him an economic advantage, assuming that XFS Elite doesn't put on some pressure. And that's going to be a bigger deal the longer the game goes on. Just that little edge out in economy. Nothing game breaking, obviously, but I think it's the better play, assuming that he can defense it. And I think that he can.
Right. See, that's really the important thing to note here, is if you can make the base and then defense it. Jagro with such a terrible game, not too happy with the outcome of that last one. Of course, like we said earlier, I think he just got outclassed, man, and that's okay. Honestly, there's not a whole lot you can do if the guy is just leagues and bounds better than you. And we do have the factory coming out now, so it looks like XFS Elite
he's ranked 80 silver at best. No,
I'm pretty sure XFS Elite is actually in platinum, if I recall. But we do have the factory coming out, so it definitely will be another either 1-1-1 or possibly a more aggressive play. So we'll see exactly what he decides to do there. It's kind of interesting that he didn't pick up the second refinery. And Florencio, of course, shown him who's boss with that BM. Such a cruel man. He isn't Grandmaster. Of course he's not. He's Obs, man. You get to believe whatever you want to believe.
You see the same 1-1 style out of Elite, but instead this time, well, I don't know, we'll see. He has that tech lab. I think that we might see some tanks out of that tech lab instead of Banshees, but we'll find out very shortly. And you see, there's actually no expansion at all for Elite. This is not the same build that was earlier at all. And this is going to have to do some early damage. And the question is, if this is indeed this is going to be a cloak Banshee play or a Banshee play at the very least, and there's the command center. This Banshee really needs about 7 or 8 SCV kills if it gets cloak, and then probably about like 4 or 5 SCV kills to make this worth it economically. Because now look, the orbital command is finished for Wayside. SCV is starting to get pumped out, and he has double mule now, and so the clock is ticking for Elite. He needs to do damage, and it's just gonna be Banshee. We'll see if he gets the.
I don't
he
believe.
Won't get that. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't believe he's gonna actually have enough gas for float. So.
Yeah, he didn't get the second gas. I didn't see that.
Looks like he was just trying to play this. It's strange how he's taking this 1-1-1 and trying to make it more economic as opposed to just like an all-in, or something that is very all-in like, and then you expand behind it after you do as much damage as you can. So it looks like he has, this build, was definitely planned out. And we do have the starport just now coming out for Wayside. Of course, there is no engineering bay, I don't believe, so there will be no missile turret. So he's not going to have any detection past his scans. And if he keeps up on his mules, you actually pay the price of having no scans. So that's the poor part of having the better macro there. And this SCV actually is on patrol at the bottom of his base, but I don't think it saw that Banshee coming out.
Well, I think he saw something because he moved just a couple Marines into his base, and he's moving something back there. What was it? Now and NGB goes down. I think he saw it.
So I do believe that you are correct. He did see something there. We do have the tanks beginning to come out, as well as siege mode just now starting to be researched. Second orbital command almost finishing up. Second barracks just now finishing as well for Elite, and this Banshee is about to move in, and we'll see what kind of damage he's going to be able to do with it.
Hellions moving out across the map as the Banshee needs to go in and start doing some real damage, but now 6 Marines in the base with no cloak and no cloak on the way. Siege Tech instead. I don't think this Banshee's going to pay for itself in the slightest. And the
Definitely
Viking is
not.
actually not too.
I was gonna say with the Viking, I don't believe he's gonna get one.
No, 1 kill. If he gets 2, no,
He's
it's
kind of
damage.
doing some kiting, but he's not actually doing any damage. He's got 2,
second kill.
3. And that Viking is cleaning him up very quickly. Some good kiting on the Marines. He will kill 1 Marine there, but I think you're right. Definitely did not pay for itself, especially with how economic of an opening Wayside decided to do with the early command center, early orbital. So we're actually gonna be seeing him falling a little bit further and further behind XFS Elite, that is, and it will start to be reflected if you check the income tabs.
And now he's going to go mech. He just dropped the double armory, so a lot of Hellions, a lot of tanks going to be coming out. Going to grab those Vikings for the air control. He's grabbing all his gas. Yeah, he's getting the other 2 gases. And you can look at the income tab and probably see, yeah, just a slight edge out. Well, actually, now I think it's caught up. No, there is.
Yeah, I was gonna say those mules had to kick in again.
It's just a little bit, but keep in mind, it's not just the fact that the harvesters for Wayside are ahead. It's the fact that he actually had mules for just a little longer. And again, nothing game breaking, and so you can look briefly while he's transferring these workers. XFS Elite got a bit ahead in the. It's close, but over the course of time, I think Wayside's actually made more money. He's supply block a little bit now, but we see the 3rd going down for him, so he's going to skyrocket in terms of macro, assuming that Elite stays on the back foot.
Right, Elite will definitely need to make some kind of a big play here to deny this 3rd if he wants to stay in this game, because being a base behind in a mirror matchup pretty much is the beginning of the end. There's not a lot that you can do if that 3rd is able to get saturated and then really start pulling in return for Wayside before you are blown to the Wayside.
That's pretty terrible.
Never again. But maybe actually. I love bad fun.
He's probably going to wait till he has stem and combat shields before he does anything really aggressive. And I feel like, honestly, if you just take a handful of these things, and now it might be a little bit different, but right now, if he were to start moving across the map and posture up against these couple Hellions just to this 3rd and put some pressure on, that wouldn't be a terrible move, because Wayside, he has a lot of these mobile units and these Hellions that'll be pretty good against the Marines, but he's not got Siege Tech yet. Actually, pardon me, he already has. No, yeah, he's just started researching. I just looked on Tech Web. He's only halfway done, so a single tank or 2 tanks, and he has 4. He could really do some damage at this 3rd base, but instead we see a really passive game, and now Wayside's mining from that 3rd. I just don't know. I feel like this is way too passive.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Like, there's no, I mean, there's a scan there, so Wayside will know the composition. He's going against Marine tank. First medevac just now coming out for Elite, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and try to take a couple of scouting Marines, send them up, and run around and see what they can see. I honestly think that a good play by Elite right now would just be to make a drop, or just something, you know, some simple aggression. It looks like he is going to go ahead and move out now that he has this medevac, and he may go straight for that 3rd base, which would, I think, honestly be a very good play, simply because if he doesn't do anything to it, he'll start to fall really behind.
He has the larger army at this point, but for how long? And the mech is really strong. These tanks need to siege at the right spot, and if they get caught out in the middle, he has the Zelnaga.
Oh, so many Hellions. Blue Flame, all of the Marines dying immediately. Oh my gosh, that was a massacre.
And that is that's not the game, but it's pretty damn close to it in terms of macro, because now what's going to happen is Wayside has the complete control of the map. He has complete army control. There's not much that XFS Elite can do to try to defend this 3rd base. Maybe if he sieges up, but this is a lot of units and a lot of tanks. He could just siege up this base and cancel or deny the 3rd. I feel like that'd be the best play, or just march up through the center, the natural. And you look at the way that he's spreading his tanks. He's spread so thin because he lost all that Marine buffer.
So there's not much that he can do here other than try to be as defensive as possible and hold on to this 3rd, but Wayside's going to go ahead and scan right there, and honestly, Hellions being so quick, they take a couple of tank shots pretty well. They can pretty much just run in there and try to win the game. It looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Only 1 tank here to deny it.
I don't know that was the right move, but it's not going to matter.
He's just going to come right back in. Marines are going to go ahead and pull out, and it looks like they're deciding to turn and fight. They will get immediately roasted by those Hellions. Honestly, I don't know what Elite can really do. He's in a horrible position. He's very far behind. You can see it about 30 supply down for him. The tanks Hellions are just too much for the Bio Ball right now. He needs more tanks to really hold this off, but Orange, as Florencio is saying, is quite good.
And at this point, the upgrades are in Wayside's favor. The income is in Wayside's favor. He's getting a 4th base at the smaller income patches, or pardon me, the 5-patch, 1 gas CC location in the center. And he's got the position of the Zelnaga Tower. He's got the tanks. He's got the tech. I feel like this is going to be a doom push here just momentarily.
Absolutely. He went ahead and made that scan to see exactly what kind of an army he was going to be going up against. XFS Elite doing everything he can to position up his tanks defensively. He's got a pretty good spread here. He's also starting to make a lot of Marauders to counter the Hellions. But I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough. I mean, taking a look at the army supply, it's 80 to 114. All Wayside really needs to do is wait for these last couple of tanks to arrive and then just push the front door down.
And at this point, what might be, I think that he could win if he just charged up. He has so many tanks.
Yeah, it looks like he heard you, and he's going to absolutely go for it. He's going to siege. So much damage about to be done by these tanks.
He doesn't have vision of the high ground.
Fly your Viking in.
There we go. A slight bit of miscontrol, but it's not going to matter. The tank count is just too damn high, but he doesn't want it anymore. He just wants to back right off, and that's totally fine. So long as Elite does not have a 3rd base, and
he's going to actually move out before these tanks get sieged. Good play here by Elite. I don't know how much they're going to be able to take out here. He will lose about half of that army. I honestly think, I don't know if he should have just committed. And
I think that he would have lost anything anyway. He was committed, or he only lost half of it there. But if you take out his like 3 or 4, 5 siege tanks, it might be worth it. But at this point, it definitely didn't help him at all to pull back. He accomplished nothing. He got 1 tank. It was the better move to just go all in at that point.
Florencio, of course, would have just set up shop, plopped a tent down, and called it home next to those tanks. But this is going to siege up. I'm not sure if FXS Elite.
Good game.
GG. And that's going to be this one. Good game. Well played by Elite, of course, with the manners. Sickology is ready to go. Once again, Bronze League, but I don't know if I can trust them. All of these guys.
Sickology, who wanted to know how to stream snipe, so I gave him lessons earlier versus Wayside. And lots of TBTs tonight, man, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm digging this. I'm digging these TBTs, even if they're pretty one-sided. Let's be honest here, they're a little bit one-sided so far.
Honestly, it looks like the leagues are not matching up tonight, and that's okay. Get to see a little bit of what really makes that higher play a big deal. We've got Yoda, the pet belonging to Sickology, and I'll let you go ahead and take the introductions.
All right, we'll go ahead and start in the bottom left-hand corner with the pink Terran. He was really concerned about the rupee to dollar ratio, and he was wondering whether he get paid or not tonight. It's Sickology. His total win-loss rate in OBS is 11 and 56, 16.4% win-loss ratio. And he says he's in Bronze League. I'm inclined to agree with that win-loss, but who knows? Maybe all he's been playing is Masters Leaguers like Lento Mello. Top right-hand corner, we have the orange Terran. He is just won a very entertaining game against XFS Elite. He is a Wayside, and his total win-loss is 11 and 4. He claims he's Master League. I have no idea. We're going to see him play one more match right now.
All right, and just going to kind of be moving into the early game here. Supply depots. Florencio, Lonely in the chat. Hey, buddy, I'm here. Now, I'll give you a heart. And it looks like we are all here. Jagro, of course, with the constant complaining that he's no good, but he is good at the same time. I don't know if you're reading the chat, but that's pretty much all I saw. I was about to sing that song, I'm So Lonely.
Jagro's been complaining that XFS Elite said he was Grandmasters League in his tab, and he was really upset because he says that Elite is probably mid-silver at best.
And I believe that's actually false. And that's okay. Because everybody gets a little bit tilted when they lose the game.
I feel like he just knew he was outclassed and probably got a little bit frustrated. But there's just no way. Oh wait, actually, how many tosses do we have in here? Terran. It's all Terran.
Zarly, of course, ready to fast forward. Man, come check out the stream. We have fun in the early game. We talk about life, man.
Burn all that time up because it's just nothing to talk about. But that's a lie because there's a lot to talk about because we have refinery, not first, but a gas build out of Psychology early, and I gotta wonder where this gas is going. It's gonna be so interesting to see, because I feel like Wayside is gonna go for something much more standard. Yeah, there's the expansion. So one gas is fast expand out of Wayside. Nothing too crazy to talk about there. But for Psychology, we have nothing being built. So maybe an expand after gas. Maybe I'm not sure where this money is.
Why would you do that? No, it will be a double barracks. So 3 barracks. Okay, keep in mind, guys, that this Bronze League is probably for real. So we're going to see some of the interesting lower level builds where you just get 1 base. Hyper aggression is a pretty common thing that you'll see in those lower leagues, where you just make a whole lot of units and go.
Oh, dude, press Alt M.
Alt M. What do you do? Ooh,
that's really cool.
Look at all those stats.
Resource value of armor. We can just keep these up at all times. I don't know. Is that distracting, guys?
Yeah, somebody give us a yell here on the stream and let us know just how much. Like,
Kokotis says that the mail ain't the sandwich you're supposed to send him, bro. You need it. By the way, hey,
look.
What's up, Kokotis?
I'll send you a scalpel, and you can just cut it right on out of him. And that's how we'll do it.
Psychology has gone for a triple barracks stem factory timing push. I'm not fully certain.
I don't know if I'm sold on this build yet. I'm not 100% sure if we'll see it in the GSL in the coming weeks, but I will be keeping an eye on it, because maybe Marine King Pro will pick it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like this or not, because this is a lot of things that I want to see at all times, but it doesn't. I would love to have this and keep the minerals and gas where it normally is.
Yeah, I actually went ahead and took mine away just because there's a lot going on at once on the screen anyway.
Too much, yeah. So let's see, totally baked. We don't judge here on the stream. XFS Elite's like, ugh. Ugh.
All of these guys. Ugh, I should have just GG'd when I lost my third. XFS Elite.
You know, I feel like it wasn't totally over, but I feel like what should have happened is you should have pressured a little earlier.
Right. You've been opening XFS Elite. You've been opening with these early, like 1-1-1 style builds, and then you use them defensively. And when the opponent that you're going against is also Terran opens with a big macro build like he did, there's actually an early window where you can just go in with that early Banshee or with the tank Hellion that you made the game before and do a lot of damage. I think you need to capitalize on that.
1-on-1s can hit at the sweet time where if you haven't prepared appropriately for it, you just get rolled, because siege tanks are really strong, and you're going to see primarily Marine forces early on. Speaking of Marine forces, a small Marine force coming out from Psychology, traversing the map. You think he only has 7 Marines in this ball. It was spotted, or actually that's his Marine, the Zelnaga. It looked a little orange on my screen, but I was wrong.
And I
they're
believe
going to meet these 2 Hellions.
Yeah, I believe this is the build that Psychology is normally using in his games to win, but these 2 Hellions are going to have none of it. They're just going to zap that Marine ball once or twice, and that'll be it for this push. And then at that point, Psychology will be so far behind, there won't be a lot left he can do. He is researching Siege at this point, but with the income, just take a look at that income tab. 780 to 1,400 minerals for Wayside. That is just going to end the game, man.
I don't wanna paint a prettier picture than what this is, because I feel like Psychology's gonna lose all his Marines at the ramp.
Oh no, and here's the stim, but there's no medvac.
Stimmed them.
The Hellions.
He stimmed him again.
And again.
Yeah, and actually, I was gonna say. I was going to make a point that is no longer valid. Ace is actually here. He's been talking on both sides of the chat. He is here. I know he is here. Kokotis.
He's here. He's supposed to be doing physics. I told him there was no way he was going to be able to pay attention, and he didn't listen to me, and I'm so glad that he didn't, because I like him around.
Psychology is so behind. He's going to try to expand in his base. But a third base going up for Wayside. The income tab just tells the story of this entire game. I think he got siege mode, and then this is his first tank coming out right now. Psychology did. So I don't know. I feel like just a different set of leagues. It's just there's not much to say about that overall, other than the fact that we've gotten a lot of just mismatches in skill level. I say skill level not as something to be mean, but I say it just as a matter of fact, because probably what has happened is Wayside's just played the game a little longer than Psychology.
Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of what you get. That's the reason that all the top level players are going for these big macro builds is because you'll be able to hold off any of these one base timings. You'll be able to hold off any of this cheese because of just how the build is designed. It is specifically designed to have just enough units to hold that kind of stuff off and then give you still that huge economic advantage. So unless you either have to cheese real well, like we see our gentleman Florencio doing, or you just need to cheese not at all and go for the macro play. And here we are going to see them move out about 20 or so Hellions. That's not 20 at all. That's actually closer to... I'm not going to do the math on stream, so I'm not going to worry about it. And 3 tanks. I don't do math, man.
And we have TLO. Yeah. TLO's got some of that sick plays, man. A 2-minute back drop coming out from Psychology. He's going to try to hit this third, I guess. And it probably will do a little bit of damage. And may start to bring it back a little bit. But even if you were to lose this third outright, it's still 1 base to 3 base.
Right. Not to mention, take a look at that army tab. 34 to 57, 35 workers to 58, now 60 workers. So once again, there's just not a lot. There's 1 Marauder and 3 Marines. This is the guard for the base, and they're absolutely ready to give up their lives for the fight, the good fight. And this third base probably will be destroyed here by this push. Once again, over-stimming. I was like the second stim that he didn't even need to hit, but that's okay. Looks like Wayside is happy to just run right up into the base and win the game.
Yeah, he has no high ground vision again, but it doesn't even matter.
There he goes. He's just going to scoop those. Just going to scoop those Hellions to the top of the ramp to get that high ground vision, and then just slowly burn these buildings down. And ouch from Florencio. Absolutely, this is pretty painful to watch. XFS Elite calling the GG, and there's the GG from Psychology, and we'll be moving into the next game.
Wayside with the 2nd win in the row, and he's taken 2 games. That game a little lopsided. Florencio decides that he wants a piece of Wayside and a PvT in our first non-mirror matchup of the day.
I'm a little excited because I wanted to see some Protoss, and Florencio is always pulling strange things out of his hat.
Yeah, I have to wonder. What cheese he has planned specifically for this game, because I believe that he has some very specific. And I wonder if he's going to use Warp Gate, because he's chosen not to use it before, and he's just recently discovered how great it is. And I'll let you grab these introductions, starting with the bottom left.
All right, guys. Well, in the bottom left, we have our pink Protoss Florencio. Of course, he is going to go ahead and. Hold on 1 second, McDowell. Apparently my stream is lagging a bit behind Windows and video, but not audio. I think that's just if you load up the streams differently. Sometimes, like if you refresh my stream, the video will probably catch up just a little bit. Kind of depends more on your end on where you're going to get that video. So sorry about that if you're watching both of the streams.
If you refresh it, it should get a little bit closer. But hopefully it's not too terribly distracting.
Yeah, that's just kind of how the streams work, man. But the audio should be right on point. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and hop back into those introductions. We've got Florencio as the pink Protoss in the bottom left. His odds were recently reset for some reason, so he's actually only 0-2, and he's got a 0% win rate, and he's in Bronze League, but all of that's actually false. He plays Obs all the time. He knows like everyone in Obs games, and he's in Diamond or Platinum League, if I'm not mistaken. And in the top right, we've got Wayside. We've seen him play a few games tonight. He is 12-4 in Obs. Masters League Terran, and I do believe that is accurate because he is playing quite well all night long. And he is going to be doing this barracks here next to his command center as opposed to trying to wall that off. So, kind of interesting.
Yeah, interesting positioning. I feel like it's just because, generally speaking, it's you don't necessarily need the wall against Protoss, but I feel like also he wants to put something there specifically later. But he's going to get the gas before the expansion, so it will be some aggressive play early on in this game.
I was just thinking about it. That's probably so that he can't pull like a probe in and delay this barracks. Just think about it.
Delay the barracks?
No, if a probe comes in to attack that the SCV building, and it's at your ramp, there's a way long travel time between your main and your SCV line, so it's harder to defend that. And of course, Florencio is going to actually go ahead and try to take the Ninja Expand in the top left.
SCV barely misses that travel path of that probe.
Now, so all this SCV is going to do, he's going to come into the base and see a whole lot of nothing, and immediately think that something fishy is up. Gateway just now dropping at 17 supply. I'm sure being a Master's level Terran, he'll know that this is late and that something is up. So we'll see exactly what he decides to do and if think that it's maybe some kind of a proxy or what. We'll have to see how he reacts to this.
Florencio has just lost his scout in the base. I think all he saw was that single barracks. He did not see the second barracks being built. And I think that he probably knew that there wasn't an expansion going down anytime soon. But at the same time, he doesn't have a whole lot of information about what might be coming. This Ninja expand, though, might be a saving grace. I'm not really sure. It's going to depend because at a certain point, Wayside's got to realize this money is going somewhere. That initial 400 minerals that he dumped into that expansion.
Right.
It's got to be in something, and it's not in these gateways. Maybe it's in proxy gateways. I don't really know what he could possibly think at this point.
Honestly, I don't think he cares too much because he's just going to 2-racks, man. Like, he's got that reactor done. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a tech lab flopping out of this one as soon as possible. And at the main, it looks like Florencio is actually gearing up to take another expansion and go with that hyper macro play. But Orange Wayside over here is not having any of it. Like I said, there's the tech lab. I'm pretty sure he's just going to build as many units as he can off 2-racks and push the front down. And Florencio, honestly, isn't going to have a lot of units to stop it.
We have these Marines marching already because he sees no defense at the moment. He might lose to that. No, SCV will survive because there is not a stalker yet. No cybernetics core finished. He's only halfway done with that. Barely got that SCV, but now 5 Marines on the map, and we're producing 2 Marines at a time with 1 Marauder at a time. I don't really know what Florencio can do at this point to really hold this off because Wayside knows that regardless of what else has been occurring, he's got a larger army, and that's good enough.
The army supply is, of course, 6 to 13, so a little bit more, actually 6 to 14 now, a little bit more than double. All Florencio has are these Zealots. That is literally it, and with the Marauders and the Marines, all he has to do is kite. And Florencio's now, he's going to get a sight of the army coming down. He knows there was about 5 Marines. He doesn't know about the Marauders yet, but he knows that the aggression is here and is not going anywhere. He might need to drop a forge to actually keep this base alive. Double Stalker, there's a sentry on the way.
He won't even
as well.
have time. He needs the sentry. He needs to be able to force field this ramp. But he has the sentry right there. This force field might actually be a saving grace.
The sentry does come out just in time. If he's able to split this army and then attack it half at a time, he may have a little bit of a chance here. But it looks like Wayside is just going to go ahead and get a little bit more army before he decides. Florencio just putting that Zealot at the low ground. He doesn't want to lose it, though. He's going to pull it up.
Force field. Oh, and he traps all the army in with him, and that's not going to be good enough. There's too much army.
Way too much army here is actually going to be just... the betting page is getting in the way, so 1 Stalker remains, and he's going to try to kite as best he can. He's going to have to pull
all of his workers right now, but it's not going to be enough.
Jago, you didn't expect that to happen because
you're not watching the stream, and he's gonna try to micro these probes perfectly, and even if he does, there's more and more Marines all across the map. Look at the stutter step micro. A lot of the Marines falling, but it doesn't even matter.
And don't be fooled, guys. That stutter step micro is really hard to pull off. So we do have 2 more Stalkers just now coming out using all of these probes, but 4 Marauders on the field with all of these Marines. And these probes are all going to just melt and die. Florencio doesn't have a lot left to offer to this game, but don't forget, he's got that Ninja expansion. So his economy is not completely in shambles, but he is very far behind.
Even with that Ninja base, he's making half of what Wayside is making, and he's lost a lot of units. He's lost so many units in this game, and I feel like it's just the beginning of the end because now the second base is going to be going down for Wayside, and he's just going to tech right on up. He's got a 3rd base on the way, going to have triple orbital command within the near future, and Wayside might be content to just go back home.
Yeah, that is exactly what it looks like he wants to do there. He's going to go ahead and just tech up, get those units healed, and then macro behind this. Florencio has Warp Gate done, hasn't decided to turn these into Warp Gates yet. I think he needs to go ahead and do that to get a few more units as soon as he can. But he is sending this Stalker up to get vision. He will see these guys bringing down this ramp, waiting for more reinforcements.
He'll pick off that, maybe he'll get that Marauder.
He actually will. I don't think that Wayside is actually paying attention. He will get that Marauder. He could actually get 2 Marines. They don't actually have the vision of there yet, and now he has to get out of there. Ah, the 1 Marauder's going to hit it.
Will it make it? It made it back home!
Just barely getting away with his life. He's running home with his tail between his legs. Guys, there's an army. We have to go. Let's just leave this silly planet. I didn't want to come here anyways. And 1 more, we got the robotics facility coming up. Just going to try to get those Immortals out to counter these Marauders, but it won't be done in time. Not going to use Warp Gate. Obviously, Zarly, you don't know jack about Florencio. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it because he's too good for Warp Gate. 3 more Zealots on the way. He needs to try to micro these well, but I don't know. There's no sentry here to force field this army into the Zealots, and it looks like they're just going to get kited all day long.
That's what he needed this entire time. He needed sentries not to fight the army, but to force field them out of the base. And I feel like if he had done that, it would have been okay.
And it looks like just now actually going to go ahead and use Warp Gate. A little unconventional here for Florencio, so we know that he's in a desperate situation if he's using the Warp Gate. Robotic facility now done, and dropping more pylons. Honestly, I don't think he needs them. He's got plenty of supply. He needs that money to go ahead and start making an Immortal.
Even with the Immortal, I mean, at this point, this is primarily Marauders, but at home, he's so far, and Wayside so far, man, he's just macroing like crazy. He's under no threat at all. He's got bottle in space. He's going to try to come up this ramp and just snipe everything, just kiting these Zealots, taking a little bit of damage from the Stalkers. Doesn't even matter. Marauder will come out, but it doesn't matter. Pardon me, Observer will come out.
Yeah, the Observer's definitely not shooting anything. He's slowly using these Warp Gates, making these Zealots, but these, I will say this army has almost stemmed itself to death, but it doesn't matter. The DPS is there regardless. He will go ahead and attack these probes, so Stalkers will be able to take out some of this army. He may actually hold here, but just barely. There's reinforcements that will be coming in shortly. I think what he actually should have done is warped in some sentries and then try to keep that army out for just a little while longer, because he does have this ninja expansion, but now he's lost all the probes in his main, so he might as well just be on one base. One base to 3. There's not a whole lot he can do. Wayside has just been cleaning up every single game, man. He's undefeated all night long.
He held, but Florencio held that attack. But over the course of this game, Wayside has killed 30 probes. 30 probes. That is ridiculous.
That is no joke, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, and we see, you know, barracks being dropped. We have, and thank you, Zarly. I appreciate it.
I don't think he's actually on the stream, but I'm not 100% sure.
I know. Which makes it even better, because we noticed at the same time.
Yeah.
But we have Medevacs coming out, Colossus are coming out for Florencio, but it just doesn't even. One Colossus is pretty OP, but not against the OP-ness of the Marine. It's a little too much. The OP-ness does not cancel out.
It's true, and with the double medevac here, there's going to be not a lot that Florencio can really do. I will say that Colossus is a good play, and he's actually going to go ahead and warp in 4 sentries, which may be able to hold just a little bit. Jaeger, of course, bringing in his Grandmaster. His problem was that the first engagement stopped with the sentries, which changed the outcome of the game. And that pylon will go down here. He needs the sentry this force field out.
Force field, okay.
Pretty good.
Force field.
Pretty good force field there.
I think he should save them because
Absolutely. And Wayside's got 4 medvacs here, so he's just going to heal up this whole army. He's got the factory coming in. I think he'll just drop that in the middle to make things a little bit harder for Wayside. Second army coming in to reinforce here. And, okay, I thought he was... Do what?
With this number of Colossus, he might be able to hold.
He's just going to pick up those units and go home.
Yeah.
So 2 Colossus barely keeping him in this game. Factory's still here, and it looks like Florencio is going to go ahead and try to expand. So don't... If there's one person you should never count out in a game, it is Florencio.
But I feel like Florencio can hold on by the skin of his teeth, but it almost doesn't matter, because 2-2 is almost finished for Wayside with +1 air attack on the way, and Florencio is still on 0 upgrades. He's only got extended thermal lance and warp gate this entire game, besides units.
There is going to be a drop happening right here on the side of the base, and it looks like it will be some multi-pronged play here, because the rest of his army will charge down the middle. Florencio just now catching a glimpse of it, probably going to try to focus fire. Oh, and he's going to lose that medevac full of units.
And now he needs the 2 Vikings, but there's a lot of stalkers here. If he focuses fires correctly, maybe he could come out even in this engagement in terms of what's going on, and that would be an amazing coming over stim. All those guys stim. That's just goodness. I don't know if I agree with that.
I mean, I guess he's got the medevacs to heal them up later, and he didn't want to engage that army, so we went ahead and stemmed to go right back on home. But Florencio, well, like I said before, he's going to barely manage to hang on. 3 Colossus now out, and Wayside's going to need something. He's going to need more Vikings to really be able to clean up this army. He does have 5 on the field now, but I believe you said, what, 3 Vikings per Colossus is ideal?
Yeah, that's what you want for sure, but that's the best situation. But with the +1 air attack and the rest of the army, and the fact that there's not much gateway buffer, he could do okay with just this. We're going to see it right now, and nice spread from Wayside, actually.
Absolutely awesome concave. Florencio knows that he's going to have to back up, but he will lose all of those units. Vikings cleaning up those Colossus, no problem. Completely undefended main and natural now, making a little bit of work in the Sauger, but there's not really much of an answer that he can do. Once again, another stem, keeping all of those units in the red with the DPS there. So strong. GG, well played.
Wayside just doing his work, bro. Doing his work. And like I was saying, like without the gateway buffer, the reason why you want 3 Vikings per Colossus is because you can't count on your Bio Ball to do damage to the Colossus that will outrange everything.
Right.
And so you let the Vikings handle the Colossus while you deal with the army itself, with the Marines and Marauders and the Ghosts. But there wasn't any real gateway army to speak of in that game, so it didn't matter at all. That with 5 Vikings to 3 Colossus with +1 air attack, it's really not that lopsided. So it was just the money. This is money. Get too much money.
So it's going to be a game. We're seeing Wayside going ahead and dropping out of this one so somebody else can get a shot at some games. It's going to be Florencio versus XFS Elite. So going to be something a little bit closer in terms of skill level. I'm pretty excited to see this one.
And one thing that we know about both these players is that, well, we've seen both. One thing is that we know both of these players, first of all,
yes.
because we've seen both of them play, not just tonight, but last week at some point or another as well. I'm gonna all in you, says Elite, and we'll find out whether that's true or not. I would love to see him go CC first after all of that, but Elite has to know that Florencio does these cheesy style plays. He's got to have known him.
Come at me, bro. Arqui Felix having none of it, and he's just gonna leave the game.
I feel like I should see a cannon rush or something crazy from Florencio, but instead we're just gonna see a single pylon going down at the appropriate time. Actually, maybe just a little late. Actually.
Yeah, actually, that was a little bit late. That should have come down at 9. I think he probably got slightly distracted with the chat. So that's actually a high-level play that you can make. Just chat your opponent up a little bit, get them a slightly off-kilter, and it looks like we're losing the majority of our observers here. So after this game, it may be time to go ahead and hop into another one and see if we can't pick up a new crowd. But
we'll find a new group and cast some new games. And hopefully find some more even matchups, because honestly, like, the big thing was that a lot of the ones in this map have been really lopsided in these mirror matchups particularly.
And just to point out, I wanted to say hello. We've got Archine in my chat, or Archini, however you'd like to say that. So hello, welcome to the stream. I believe you were on the other day. Hope you're enjoying the casting, man. Sorry the games haven't been super close, but we will see exactly what this one is going to turn into. We do have the barracks coming down for XFS Elite. Gateway about to drop. No, actually, he's on 15 supply. He's just going to go Nexus first, and it will be scouted. XFS Elite will see this, just coming in slightly too late to deny it.
And that's probably the biggest fake out that Florencio could have ever done. Expand first. That's the one thing that I don't think anyone in the world would expect him to do first. But it might be a little too ballsy. I mean, Elite's not in a perfect position to counter it, but there's a lot of time that's going to happen between the Forge going to go down, and that's actually a huge. I don't know. I think it opens up Florencio way too much. He's not going to have Zealots or Stalkers or any kind of real army anytime soon. And if Elite did all in him, he just built one more barracks, churned out units constantly. I don't know what he could do.
That is exactly what it looks like he's going to do. XFS Elite is going to stick to his guns, and just build 3 barracks and go for it. So Florencio. Just going to build that Forge first. I wouldn't be surprised to see Florencio make like 5 or 6 cannons.
But even if he makes like 1, he doesn't have any gas, so maybe that'll change it. But if he pulls all of his workers to take the damage from the cannons, there won't be any army. And the gateway's going to go down right now. Yep, and then there it goes. The first gateway's going to come down, but I feel like it's Elite's game to lose at this point, because Forge fast expands against Terran. There's a reason why it's done commonly. And And Joe says, thank God J-Gro is gone. I'm not here to judge, but he was a jackass.
I'd have to agree that dude was kind of an idiot. He thought he was the bee's knees, but honestly he was more like just their ankles or something. Not really anything to speak about. We do have double gas coming down.
That's so bad. Oh my God, man.
Come on, man. Back me up on these puns, man. I got you're giving me nothing to go off of here. Okay, so we do have XFS Elite. It's definitely while it is, I'd say, an all-in of sorts. He's not doing just like the 3-racks all-in where you pull all of your workers. He's definitely got some econs on behind this.
He needs to go because well, the Cybernet score hasn't been started yet, so he's still got some time. But the longer this goes on, the better Fluencio's looking overall. Because at a certain point, the reason why this is great against for the Terran in this situation is because the cannons really aren't that great early on. They don't have enough numbers against the amount of units that you could turn out early, and with the SCVs to buffer the damage, it's just terrifying. It's so crazy. And even if he had not done Marines, he could have just done Marauders, and Marauders tear up cannons.
Yeah, it's honestly not even fair.
If he waits much longer, though, there's going to be 4 cannons here, and even though he has no units, I just don't know if he's going to have the DPS with this force to deal with it. It's going to be tough. He wants to expand behind it, it looks like.
That's definitely what it is.
Oh, no, there it is.
That's it. He's going to pull everything, so he's got 600, 500 minerals in the bank, and he's going to pull absolutely everything out of his base and just go. Just going to go for it.
I feel like he waited too long, but it might not even matter. The Cyber Core is up, but we don't have Warp Gate. We can only produce 1 unit at a time. Photon Cannon, 5 Photon Cannons, maybe 6 will be done by the time that they get there.
Florencio is definitely going to have vision of this push because he's got this tower right here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him go ahead and drop one more. There's going to be another pylon. He's got it selected. There is the 6th cannon set up in the 3-2 pyramid, and he's going to go ahead and pull all of his probes to try to defend this. Florencio with the question mark, surprised that he's being all in after XFS Elite.
That's actually, this is a lot of things. With the amount of cannons he has here, I'm not sure. Husky's online, by the way.
Let's go ahead and get him into the Obs game. I'm sure
he's going to have bunkers here. I don't like that. I don't like this move. I feel like once he realized that he couldn't end the game here, he should have gone back home with his SCVs and just try to put on some kind of slight contain.
I think that's actually what he's going to do, because take a look at that.
The bunkers are unnecessary, and the fact that he's investing in that instead of he could have just built another barracks instead of that. He could have gotten gas instead of that. I don't think that he needs to commit to being right here with these bunkers. And of course, he can salvage them later. Right. But they're not actually doing anything. And in fact, with one stalker from the high ground, they could pick away at this southmost bunker.
So a little bit of bad micro there. One Marine getting caught out, and the rest tried to save him, and all they met was cannon fire. So we do have the double assimilator coming up for Florencio now. He's going ahead and grabbing that +1 upgrade. No Warp Gate research yet because he just doesn't like it. He's not used to it because he played Brood War for so long. Once again, these Marines keep getting pecked away by these cannons.
He doesn't need to put on. He doesn't need to actually do anything. His presence here will be enough, and he's got a 3rd base. I love that move because Florencio now. I think Florencio's in the lead for sure because he's got that tech lead. He's been on 2 base for a lot longer, and look, the Stalker's gonna poke down that. Almost, I think they shot their own buddy there. And he's gonna just cancel it. Okay, there we go. I like that move. But see, those bunkers didn't do anything, and it's just a little lost because it's 50 minerals wasted, but it's still wasted. They didn't do anything at all.
Right. He literally just picked him up and threw him out over the little cliff here into the sky. And so we do have the Twilight Council. Gonna see what he decides to do with that. Might be yeah. Okay. So he will actually start the Blink research, and Florencio. With this 2 base, he'll be ahead for just a little while, but with the 3rd base coming up for XFS Elite, he will actually start to fall behind because of the tripled orbital. Calling dim mules down all the time, getting lots of money in for XFS Elite. So Florencio is going to need to take a 3rd to keep this game competitive or do some kind of pressure off of this base, these 2 base play.
One thing to note is that he just has Marines without combat shield, without stim, without 1-1, without anything. +1 attack for Florencio is going to be done momentarily, and he's going to have an observer within the next little bit. Robotics facility almost done. So there will be a nice window where Florencio can do some serious damage with a nice amount of stalkers. And look at that, he has 9 gateways.
I was going to say, he's actually going ahead and dropping a huge amount of gateways at home, so it definitely looks like he's going to gear up for this push. Grabbing the Warp Prism, actually. Interesting play there, so he's going to have a Blink Warp Prism play, even getting the Robotics Bay, presumably for the increased Warp Prism speed. So some really interesting play here by Florencio. We'll see exactly what he's able to do with this, but I honestly, I really like that play.
No, the one thing that I feel like the fatal flaw of this play is going to be that it requires you to use warp gates, and I'm not sure Florencio is able to actually click the W button and warp anything in. I just don't know if it's in the cards.
That is the one flaw of this build. is that Florencio may not know that that button actually exists. We haven't really seen him use it in the past. I think he still thinks that you have to click all of those gates by themselves, one at a time. He's going to move out and see all of these Marines. Oh, the sentries, they're accidentally attacking the rocks.
Almost lost a sentry to
Oh.
wasted 2 force fields.
So that was a little bit of poor micro there by Florencio. Here comes the warp gates now. They're all...
4 sentries in that warp prism.
And where is that warp prism going to go?
Go to the main, and he's going to try to force field the army out, but what he doesn't know is the army's actually sitting in the main.
And that is rather unfortunate. It looks like just a cruel hand of fate is actually going to be dealt to Florencio here, because he wants to do as much economic damage as he can, but the force fields aren't going to do a lot because that army is already there.
How cool would it be if he just swung around to the lip of the natural, and then force field them into the base and prevents them from... Oh no, he's going to lose all of them!
Oh, so much damage happened so quickly. The one Marine in the front not able to get the job done, so he will go ahead.
Terrifying. Lead's taking a commanding lead, by the way, in economy and in army, and now he's catching up on tech too. I don't know how this happened. It might have been the bajillion cannons that were made, but...
I mean, it's possible. That was only like, 1,000 minerals worth of cannons instead of tech or anything else. But we'll see exactly what Florencio does. He does have the blink tech, but combat shields, I believe, and stem are already done, are they not? Let me take a look here. Stem is done. Combat shields is done as well for those Marines. +1/+1 now coming up. Templar Archives about halfway done. Agoraphobic, I don't even know what that means. I'm going to be honest.
Should look it up.
I probably should.
But I won't. I won't.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So we do have the warp prism. It's going to move out. It looks like this time around it's going to go ahead and try to check out what the third has got to offer. Colossus now on the way, and a huge warping of Zealot. So he does actually know how to use W, but I don't know. I just maybe his reflexes are a little slow when it comes to that warp gate. But we've got a lot of Chrono Boost saved up. He needs to try to use that on upgrades if he can. I
Move
believe
out
he
his
is.
base and all these Marines again. I think that he has enough to deal with them if the Zealots are at the front. And now he's, Elite's going to run away.
That's exactly what he was going to do, is try to position those Zealots accordingly. Elite's just going to go ahead and hop out of there. An aggressive blink. He's going to just turn around and try to engage a few of these. Some sentries. Looks like they're going to be a little bit too quick. Maybe
again?
Just one. So some good force fields here. Come on. Where are the force fields?
This kiting. Look, these Zealots are going to do no damage. Oh, he's in a corner now.
Look at this. The drop is actually happening for Florencio at the same time. He's managed to get a huge amount of SCVs in this drop. That's how come he stopped microing on the army at the top, and he needs to go ahead and pull it out because XFS Elite is having none of it, and he's going to try to attack this army directly, but the sentry may be able to force field it.
It's really good.
Only one Colossus, though, against all of this army already pretty split. And look at this concave he's going to have here. Force field's not doing it.
Oh, and he got it.
Doing enough. He needs to just blink and try to cut his losses. Third base goes down for XFS Elite. Only 2 Stalkers remain.
He needs to just push forward in the natural and see what he can do because he's not going to stop this army none of it's on the map.
It looks like a huge warp-in of High Templars in the main, actually, as well as the rest of an army. He will go ahead and take this warp prism now and do some dacking. But the Natural's got plenty of reinforcements coming down to meet this army out. But there's still 3 sentries in this warp prism. So a little bit...
He just got mismicroed and it's conducted.
Yeah, looks like it missed the warp prism. Look at this. He's going to actually go into the main.
The main. He needs the force field right now.
And the sentries force field goes down. Marines on a bad rally. Gonna warp in some Stalkers here.
Stalkers in.
Yeah, really good play by Florencio. I'll be honest, he's got quite a lot of energy. Unless Florencio,
He's actually an attack of the natural.
There he goes.
Weak, though.
The cannon's doing a lot of damage. Look how much those army has been stemmed. Almost all of those units are already dead. Florencio actually has 4 High Templar Storm research and complete here. He needs to try to attack with this army, but he's doing so much at once. So much micro, so much APM being used here. And
on there, they could just kill this in a second. They could get sneezed on. There's no health on these stemmed units.
It looks like he will now. He's going to keep this natural alive, and he's going for the drones in the main. Florencio doing some good damage. He needs to try to go ahead and storm this army, but Sentries and Zealots doing the damage that they need. Florencio, at the meantime, is actually doing quite a lot of damage in the main here, and continuing to do some good force field, taking out these units with all those force fields. Warp Prism doing lots by being able to warp in all those units at the natural of Florencio. Also, he's able to hold that off. And this game, I'm not honestly sure in whose favor it's in right now.
Oh, it's absolutely Florencio. It's got to be Florencio. There was so much damage done by those drops. It was 16 workers killed, and he's on 2 base now, but the main is going to be mined out. And actually, the main's going to be mined out for both players. But I think that the tech is favoring Florencio, even though, well, it's hard to say now. What is the army supply looking like? Yeah, Florencio has a less worker supply, but a higher army supply. And this third is going to be coming down for XFS Elite, but if Florencio pushes right now with Storm and with, well, he needs more Stalkers, but if he tries to get some supply now, there's 2 pylons. I didn't realize the supply block he was. I think that he could do some serious damage in this interim period, but it looks like Elite might want to do a big drop.
That is look like what he's gearing up for. He's got a couple of medevacs full. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go ahead and fill up that third one, but we'll see what he decides to do there. Medevacs do not have a lot of energy, so feedbacks will not be able to one-shot them. Florencio taking his third a little bit behind XFS Elites. This is already about 3/4 of the way done, so XFS Elite is in the position to get ahead with that third base, but at the moment, like you said earlier, if Florencio decides to attack, he will be able to do a lot of damage with these High Templars. He's got almost full energy on all of them. Storm, of course, costs 75, so he'll have about 3 Storms per Templar, which would just be devastating.
The one thing that I have to comment on that Florencio is forgetting is upgrades. And I think that he had the opportunity to get them earlier, but he's fallen behind. It's 1-1 versus 2-2. And that's not as big of a deal, but if it gets to 3-3 versus 1-1...
Which is definitely, they're on the way now, so...
And at that point, it's going to be really sour for Florencio because he's going to be too far behind. But look at this army. They don't have this El Naga. They don't have vision of this army.
It looks like both of these armies are just kind of going to dance around. The army decides to stim and go for it. There's a drop, of course, in the main. A Storm kind of whips, not doing much of anything. He's just dodging these Storms. Zealot's taking more damage from the Storm than anything else.
No, he's farming his own Zealots.
You're storming yourself, man. Quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself. It's just like back in high school.
And if he goes in, they're going to go cancel each other's thirds, I feel like. I think that who's in the lead at that point? It's got to be the person with the bigger army and the higher tech. I feel like that's...
I've said it before.
With 3-3, it's going to be... it's going to be so bad.
Both of these thirds will be denied, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. You never want to base race a Terran as Protoss, because all they have to do is lift up and win. If you weren't going air, which of course you weren't because you're not bad, you won't really be able to do very much against it.
They're going to get caught out. They're going to stim against this gateway unit attack. And Colossus and Storm, and I feel like as long as there's a probe on the map, is there a probe on the map? Can they get away? Oh, they can certainly get away. This is a true base race in its truest form. And I feel like Florencio has the better army. The upgrades are going to finish, though, in 3-3 Marines. I honestly don't know who's going to win in that fight, but it's definitely a lot of mules not doing anything at all.
We've got Stalkers and High Templars warped in at the main of Florencio, so Florencio will be able to probably hold this army off if he can hold for long enough to get the Storms. At the moment, he doesn't have enough. XFS Elite does not have any army in his main to hold this off. He will actually lose his main for sure. Like I said before, he needs to lift. He's got a command center. Look at this command center. It's actually going to burn down. Mules wanted to repair it, but there's no time now, and it will fall. And in the main, it looks like the army is just kind of running around, biding his time. 75 energy now. He's ready to engage. He's going to try to take this army out with the Storms. Main base for XFS Elite getting torn apart. Here comes the army now. Good Storm doing lots of damage. Those units are so hurt. Medvac goes down.
It tells the story 37 to 93.
I have no idea. Look, once again, another stim. So many stims here. Another Storm. Not a lot XFS Elite can do. And he's losing everything in his main. He will be revealed as he loses his final command center. GG from XFS Elite. I don't even know how. Like I said, Florencio, never count him out, man. Starting with a Forge fast expand into cannons. I don't even know.
I feel like it was a little bit of a mistake from Elite to do that's all in late. But the bigger thing for me was that when he decided to attack that main, and he basically said, "We're going to do a base race now." What happened was his army was caught out. So what happened? What I mean by that is that he had a similarly sized army, 3-3 Marines with a few medevacs, and that would do okay against the Colossus and Gateway attack because there's only one Colossus and there's a lot of High Templar and he was dodging sleep. But when Florencio went into the natural, about half of the XFS Elite army supply was at the mouth of the natural because they had been rallied there, and they engaged the entire. He split his army in half, not intentionally, but it ended up split in half, and he engaged that huge army half at a time, and he couldn't kill the production of Florencio fast enough. So even though he was producing off of all those barracks, Florencio had instant reinforcements in the main.
Right. Just a really awesome game. I never know what Florencio's gonna do, man. He always somehow manages.
That was such a weird thing, man.
Like, it's just, I've never seen games like that. Like, in the ladder, it's just like, well, he's got an extra high Templar GG. or vice versa, where it's like, well, he went Marauders, so I lost the game.
I actually feel like Elite, you're right. I don't know about, like, I don't know, I can't say whether you'd win or you lose, but I think in the end, it would have been better, because if you would have moved all those Marines out and just forced those cannons out and not have attacked into it ever,
right,
and just a macro play behind it and gotten an earlier third, granted, I think you did get one earlier, you got one way earlier than Florencio did, but that would have put you further ahead than you were initially, and that would have allowed you to do some drop play early. I don't know, because you lost a lot of mining time, and I think you lost a couple SCVs, and then you actually didn't accomplish anything when you were down there, but that, you know, it was interesting to see.
Good stuff. Maybe pull my probs, man. 99 probs. And not one of them are alive.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Alright, guys. We'll hop in another one. Let's see. Do you want to cycle anybody out at all? Or not? Or
anybody?
Yes?
We've actually got Dr. Nublet hanging out. What's going on, man? What's up, Doctor? And he said the other guy was being fair. Actually, it looks like Dr. Nublet has already... No, okay, he's still here. We got Shock, Dr. Nublet. Yo. What's up, man? Hanging out in the stream. You weren't rooting for Florencio. You were doing it wrong. Am I right, penis?
Joe, I'm going to time you out.
Joe. I'm going to ban him. I can't believe you did it. I bet that was Ryan. Just because that seems like something Ryan would say.
Oh man, it's not an actual ban. He's not actually banned, but he can't talk for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or some bullshit like that.
That's great. All right, well, let's go ahead. Let's see who's in the party. Let's go ahead and get the rest of. Invite a friend to the chat.
Kokotis wants in, I think. Hey, Elite or Florencio, do you wanna trade out just because we can keep the amount of new people high, or do you wanna play?
Trying to keep it fresh.
Let's see. Let's go ahead, Florencio. Like, just to try to keep things rotated. Can you sit out for this one, and then I'll get Kokotis in here, and then if anybody else wants in, I'll see if Elite's cool with trading out.
Yeah.
And we can just go to the next one.
I think Shockfist wants an invite as well.
Oh, I got you.
So do we want to trade out Shockfist and Elite, and then
yeah. If that's cool with you guys, we'll do it that way. And I'll get you in here, Kokotis.
That would be lovely. And of course, we're not trying to be mean or anything.
Ryan texted me and he said your petty time bans cannot stop us.
I knew it was Ryan.
Oh man.
Okay, XFS Elite actually disconnecting, so I think
he might have been done for the day.
I don't know, but we'll go ahead and
we will find out. I kicked him because he was disconnected anyway. We're gonna go ahead to the next game and see what is up in Ops. Ryan and Joe and all you guys suck a dick.
Oh, Law, we've got Ramp Natters.
Oh my god. Guys, the reason why that's funny, and that's in my chat over on twitch.tv/Mendokuse, and one of my friends, his name on StarCraft is Rimp Neuters, and he one day he was calling some dude's stream, and he got banned a couple of times, so he made like 3 or 4 accounts, and that's where that's coming from. Oh.
It was so funny because he was trolling originally, and then he got banned, and he came back as like he was originally Rump Neuters, and then he came back as like Ramp Natters, and he was just like, oh, doing the same thing And it was just so funny.
I am the host,
There
so
was
I have power, but I can't actually. How come I could change myself to the commentator that one time?
did you I don't know.
Was it was it
I
private?
got nothing for you.
Angel.
Gentlemen on my stream, how do you feel about the music in the background? We're trying to weigh that out because casting takes up a lot of the downtime. We always play music if we're gaming, but with the casting, is the music distracting, or what would you rather? Is it okay? Like I try to have my music on really quietly, so it's just kind of background noise.
What's up, Irza? What's up, man?
Earzant, what's up, man?
Yeah, we've been doing some StarCraft casting in the past couple days. Oh, well, Shock says he'd rather handle with the music. Well, I'll add music in this next time, and we'll just see what's up. Yeah, what's up, Irza?
McDom, I would be on your stream, but there's a delay compared to Mendez. Yeah, that's because
How about throwing two? Am I right? Oh wait, no, that's not Irza. Oh my God, it's not Irza. It's the other troll account. I forgot.
oh man, yeah, that's Feely's other troll account.
How come it says that he's? You're not mod. The
Earzant 7.
Are you? I don't think I think his name is just. Well, we'll find out. When Dr. Newblet joins the game, probably better that way because that gives us extra time.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 8 accounts. He has like 8 accounts, man.
Well, I got Dionysus in here. I actually casted him all last night. Hey, what's up, Dio?
Yeah, and Pentagon. Pentagon. I know, but I was trying to figure out whether it was. I was trying to figure out whether or not that was Wilson join the lobby.
Just getting everything underway, guys.
I'll investigate. I got you, bro. I got you. Wilson playing.
Of course, man.
Well, Shock. Here's the big thing. In the Obs game, since a lot of people are random, we actually don't know their leagues, so we have no idea.
We've got Gummy Bear in here.
So I'm just gonna try these. Gummy Bear, High Diamond, Wilson, Silver,
I'm pretty sure Dionysus is Masters, and he plays random.
Ryder.
So we've got a lot of high-level people in here.
Florencio is awesome. Yay, Florencio. God, Ryan. Oh, you're killing me, Ryan.
Ban them all! Ban them all!
No, sorry. He said say something Florencio. Is what Ryan said. Guys. Ryan just sent like a bunch of texts to me and just like, we will not be silenced.
They're probably all drunk.
No, he just said, no, all he said was something Florencio. All I said was you. Florencio is awesome or something like that. Yeah, Kokotis, what's up?
Drinking
It's
may be
Wednesday.
involved.
It's Wednesday.
It's Thirsty
Get a grip,
Wednesdays?
bro.
I don't know. Wet Wednesdays? Can't stop
These are my mods, bro. Can't fucking believe it.
What are we doing, man? What are we doing with our lives? Modding these guys.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Daybreak's taking forever, man.
Yeah, I'm actually going to run to the restroom, fill up my cup of water, and I'll be right back.
So we're gonna spend half an hour in the load screen, whatever, and just sit here and talk a little bit about ourselves. Philip. Yeah, what he's gonna do is it's better if you don't know what he's gonna do in the restroom. Honestly. You need a you need a name for my stream. Like what? a name for my stream? I don't get it, man. Alright, we're going to see these first 1v1 OBS matchups. 3 Bronze Leaguers and a Grandmaster, obviously. Obviously, that's totally 100% true. Shotfist versus Gummy Bear. Shockfist recently gotten Silver League, Gummy Bear being a high diamond player, so don't freak out. But it's gonna be a little bit of a mismatch, I'm gonna be honest. Well, who knows? I actually don't know if he's Diamond Zerg or whether he is Diamond something else. But we will find out. It's not the logs. Gonna start casting the game in the top right hand corner. We have the blue Terran, who we all know, we all love, Shockfist. He is 0-4. I think they reset these recently because I think he played more than that in OBS games. Here recently in the 1v1 OBS, he's also 1-1 in a free-for-all, that one free-for-all where he beat a Diamond and a Grandmasters and everything else all at once with one hand tied behind his back and one eyeball closed. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the yellow Zerg playing down here in the bottom left-hand corner, 6-1, 85.7% win-loss ratio. And I don't know if he's a streamer, but if he's streaming, then he should give us the stream so I can watch it. And Gummy Bear says a Bronze League hero. I actually don't know if he's Bronze. I think that we just checked and saw that he was not, but I may be wrong. It doesn't really matter that much. A little bit of lag. I feel like somebody is gonna lag out sometimes soon. I don't know. It's actually cleared up. He's going to speak about the actual game here. No, Dr. Nublet. What are you doing, man? Dr. Nublet, come on.
What is up?
What's up?
Back.
We just got the game underway. Shockfist versus Gummy Bear, and Shockfist starting with a barracks first, and a little bit of lag coming up for Dr. Nublet. You gotta fix it, Dr. Nublet. Come on. And what we're gonna see out of Gummy Bear is 15 hatch, 15 full, most likely. Gonna do some light harass on the SUV with this drone. Gonna just Dr. Nublet not having a good time at all. Coda's wondering how your restroom water is.
Man, it is just fine. I live not in the terrible dorms.
I'm not gonna lie, the water in my dorm is awful. I'm sorry, Dr. Nublet. Hopefully your internet pans out sometime soon. But
did you already blast the streams and everything?
It just happened every now and then, so I don't know.
What happened?
Just Dr. Nublet had some lag.
Gotcha.
We have a spin out from Shockfist and no expansion in sight, just this gas, so we're going to see some kind of 3 racks play early. I have to imagine this is something that Shockfist has done a lot recently. Meanwhile, Gummy Bear going for a very standard 15 hatch, 15 full gas right after all of that.
Absolutely. And so we'll probably see from Gummy Bear try to get that early speed and earlier hatchery, possibly depending on what he wants to do with this. He may go for 3 hatch, he may go for some tech and some aggression. So we'll see exactly what he decides to do with that. He is doing the old extractor trick here in the main, going to be denying Shockfist's second assimilator over there, but he's going to take that drone off and run it right into that Marine. He was just waiting for him. Reactor coming down for this barracks.
One thing to look at, and I believe this is the first game of this OB, so this is fairly accurate, not completely accurate. But if you look at the APM tab, I believe Gummy Bear is Diamond, and the APM would seem to indicate at least something close to that, because he's got about a 129 average APM in the EPM tab, something very similar to that as well. And Shockfist just doesn't have quite that much APM because he's a little bit newer, recently promoted to Silver instead, so this might just end up being a little bit of a league mismatch. EPM is effective actions per minute instead of just actions per minute, and so what that means is that
it takes out your spam. So like if you just spam 2 hotkeys a billion times, you'll get a lot of APM. But the EPM is if you're actually like clicking a unit and then moving it somewhere, or like selecting a unit and then selecting a building and actually making something out of it. So
Gummy Bear going to see a lot of Marines early, and if Gummy Bear plays a little too greedy, this may be a little dangerous. Pentagon saying what we said, and then also what Dionysus said, and
if he was watching the stream, he would have heard about it. But of course, he's not wrong.
You know, honestly, Gummy Bear, if he builds no Zerglings or no defense at all, he'll be in some danger. But the fact that his command center is being down so much later is going to be a little dangerous for Shockfist, because I just don't think he'll have the ability to keep up as much with the amount of production that Gummy Bear will be able to offer.
And this Ling is gonna actually make it all the way home.
God.
No micro there from Shockfist to actually surround it, and he will run his little hurt butt home to his queen and cry to her, and she will of course transfuse him if she feels so inclined. That probably won't happen, but you can only imagine that's what he wants.
Probably just gonna lick its own wounds and then get back to full health in about 30 seconds.
And we've got the orbital command out here. Mule just now dropping for Shockfist. He went ahead and is going to take this expansion, but honestly, the expansion is in no way early. He made all of these early Marines to stop some kind of progression that just never came. So Gummy Bear is going to be creeping with these two queens, and he's going to be looking very strong in the mid-game. His supplies is already starting to show that, and he's got 29 Harvesters to 21 for Shockfist. And all the Mad Vision, just want to point that out as well.
I feel like Gummy Bear should try to push for a third or try to pressure a little bit, because right now he's getting this early +1 ground attack, and that's cool. But I want to know what he's taking to. He's gotten any more gas. He's just been droning, which is gonna be great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that he's ahead in this game because of just a little ahead in this game, just because of the expansion timings. But I want to know where this leads to. Getting a macro hatch now, driving a second evolution chamber. There's a Baneling nest, so some kind of Baneling.
Right, and he's going ahead and getting all three of his extractors. So we are about to see what tech he decides to go for. Shockfist has got his starport, got his siege tech, and his combat shields all on the way, but no third base for either of these players. So it looks like they're going to both be doing some kind of two-base play or aggression off of that two base. So
Shockfist still has not made his natural expansion into an orbital command.
And that is going to be a pretty big deal, because mules are good and you need lots of them.
Yeah, I feel like that's a mistake, but I feel like it's a conscious mistake that he just doesn't realize that's what you're supposed to do at this point in the game.
Right. He's trying to make those SCVs out of it. It's not like it's not making anything. And these Zerglings are just going to chase these Marines down, decided not to actually turn around and shoot it. The mistake that will cost him his life. This one Zergling is a hero, 2 kills on him and getting the watchtower back. Pretty good.
Is that the same Ling that survived earlier?
I don't know. I actually am unsure if that is the same one.
It's either that one or the one over here at the third. Look at this creep spread, man. He's got 3 queens and they're just working full time trying to get this creep spread out as far as possible.
Absolutely. Just lifting those skirts and pooping those tumors right on out. He's also keeping up on his injects. You can see the energy on these queens in the base are remaining low. Definitely a higher level player. And Shockfist is going to have to be careful here, because this macro is going to begin to just completely take him out of this game if he doesn't do some kind of aggression here soon.
And it's gonna become more and more of a deal the longer this game goes on. Getting some engineering base down, but the upgrades +1 ground is already or +1 melee already done for Gummy Bear, and he's gonna have +1 carapace before +1 armor. I just feel like the upgrades are gonna be all in favor of Gummy Bear. The army's gonna be in favor of Gummy Bear. He's got his third base coming up. Didn't kill the Marine. There's.
He thought about it and then went right on back home. Pentagon, I hope you are entertained if you're watching. And we've got this defense here for Shockfist. I don't think a straight-on engagement will work in any way for Gummy Bear right now, but he's going to have all the tech in the world. Spire halfway done or so coming up, as well as all the upgrades in the production tab. You can see them there. Banelings. All he has to do, this wall is extremely susceptible to Banelings. He just needs to run some Banelings in there and then win the game.
Spire's more than halfway done now, so we're going to see Ling Muta Baneling. To answer your question, Dr. Nublet, I feel like the only reason why Gummy Bear went for that super macro heavy build initially and didn't build any more, like his static defense is lacking in his main and his natural. But I think that's because he didn't see anything that was really threatening on Shockfist's side. Just a few Marines, but not enough of anything else. And actually, this move out from Shockfist is going to come at the wrong time. He's going to get seen by everything. And a full surround from Lings. There's so many Lings. He's going to make Banelings too. I just don't know about this.
Oh my gosh, that's so many Banelings. 25 Banelings. Shockfist is going to come right out to this creep. He's going to scan. He's going to try to get some of this. But these Banelings are about to finish. Zergling's going to go ahead and surround. And here comes the Banelings. No micro at all could save that. And all the teams die. All the Marines die. and there's just a paltry like 7 or 8 Marines to hold the front. Shockfist 58 supply to 103. Nom nom indeed. Very painful to see that.
It's just a difference in the leagues. It's just nothing else to say about it.
A fourth will surely be coming up here soon for Gummy Bear after that attack.
I feel like a follow-up attack should just come in because he's got what, one tank that barely survived that last attack, and he's not making one more.
I just want to point out that he's actually got 14 creep tumors in production from time to time. Like, this creep spread is absolutely outrageous.
And he's got so many. He's got what, 3 queens still actively pooping creep all over the place. It's just gonna multiply. Multiply.
Exponentially. Guessing blue is silver. You are correct. Mute is on the field now. He can do some cool things, and he's actually got Overlord speed. I believe he also has Overlord drops as well. So he could do some cool things with that. He's going to actually go ahead and spread those out all over the map. So he's got... There's literally... Like, they need to come up with a brand new word for map control, and then that's what this game is. Like, Gummy Bear has such a commanding presence on this map right now that we need to come up with a new word for it completely. Mule is about to go into the main. No Marines here to defense it. And that Mule will be targeted first, I believe. Now it looks like he's just going to go ahead and kill everything. Shockfist now bringing his entire army back home to try to defend this. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gummy Bear just take all of his banelings and lings and attack the front, but it looks like he's content with just doing the Muta harass.
I mean, he killed 12 workers with that push. Probably actually killed 11 because I think one was killed earlier, but that's still 11 workers for really nothing at all. That was risked on his part. The defense was just not there. 75 to 32 workers, says Dionysus, and that is, oof, that is going to be too much. 1K on 2 expos, and again, it just comes down to mechanics. He just doesn't have the same practice mechanics.
Going to be loading up those guys in those medevacs to try to pull out with a drop. It looks like he's going to fly. He's going to fly right into them. And he's going to lose everything. His APM's not going to catch up with this. Oh, no. He's trying to turn them around. But no, he lost everything. Supply plummets for Shock.
He's got to be coming any second now.
Going to try to hold this off, but there's no way. That's the most painful feeling.
That's rough. It's rough, man.
Missile turrets en route, but they're not going to be done in time. Only a handful of Marines to defend this. And it looks like Gummy Bear is content to just play around with this Muta harass and take more expansions, not even trying to attack with his main army. I think he understands the severity of the league.
He could end it at any point in time that he wanted to at this point. This game is really over. And it's
kind of a shame.
Yeah,
I'd really like to see some games that are a little bit closer in league, and we'll see if we're going to be getting any of those soon. We've actually got, what is that, Corrigan in my chat here, so welcome Corrigan. I hope you're enjoying what we've got casting and what we've got going on right now. This game isn't the most exciting because it's essentially Zerg in the lead. Shoff is looking to take his third base, but all he found was some creep. And it looks like this expansion will actually be taken out by the Mutas. Not a lot Shockfist can do, so he's just going to move out in desperation and see what he can do with this paltry army here. Hard to float 1K with 6 racks. He's just creeping. He's just spreading to creep. Zerg just zerging, man.
I think that the Zerg just wanted to make only banelings, but he might just need to kill this army now. I feel like Shock knows the situation now. Yeah, there's no SCVs. There's no third base. The creep is just inching closer and closer to his base, and he's gonna run right into all
of instantaneous melt of the army. No pre-splitting.
Supply, and that's
GG. Gummy Bear victorious.
That sucks, man. That sucks.
Kakaktis has left the game. Muta's Imba. Dr. Nublet saying, good game, well played. Pentagon.
And Shock, I feel for you there. At that point, no, yeah, Shock, no, I feel for you, Shock, man. That's there's nothing you could have done there. It's just a matter of that person has played a lot more, and that's it. You know, but you're playing really well for your level. I swear. There's a reason you got promoted to silver, man. You're doing fine.
Mm-hmm. And now we're going to be stepping into another game. It will be a ZVZ. Dionysus, of course, rolling random. I was actually
Easy. What?
what? And actually, I'm actually pretty excited because Dionysus is a Masters League player, and Gummy Bear, of course, was playing excellently last round. I believe he's also Diamond or Masters. If anybody knows on the chat, Florencio, you know all things. Feel free to drop that line in and let me know in the chat. But I'll go ahead and introduce our players. We've got, like I said, Dionysus as the light blue Zerg in the top right position. He is 34-10 in Obs with a 77% win rate. And in the bottom, we've got yellow Zerg Gummy Bear. It says he's bronze. He's 7-1 with an 87.5% win rate. I do not believe him, but we'll see exactly what is going to come out of him this game. It is very fast. Rider with an it's boring, but Pentagon disagrees. And we're going to see exactly what these guys decide to do. Just throwing it right now.
Dr. Nublik commenting that everything besides him is OP, but also commenting more to the point that he has checked out Gummy Bear's SC2 ranks, and he doesn't find them very impressive. We'll find out how impressive his play is, though, because SC2 ranks, I found that it doesn't always update appropriately. But that being said,
right.
If he's not been winning a lot recently, it might reflect the fact that at least at his level, he's not doing as well as you might expect. Also, Rift Neuters. Oh, what's up, Ben over Speedy? What's up, man? We were just talking about you earlier, bro. It's so great to see you back on the stream. And Rift Neuters talking about how Dionysus is the Zerg which commands the storms. Thunder cracks at his name, and actually, while trying to cast a game of his yesterday, my power went completely out.
It's actually true. All of those things happened.
That was a thing. And one thing that we probably need to comment on that I haven't even noticed until just now, the spawning pool is about to come up, but there's still no hatch for Gummy Bear at all, and I've got to wonder why. Is there any? I'm not a Zerg expert, but I would imagine that there is some reason why that has occurred. Some kind of large timing attack early on.
Well,
it's got to be.
It looks like he was just doing pool first and then queen, and that's just where that money went. Because you can see Dionysus has the expansion already almost completed, but
you're right. It's got to be a mistake. It's got to be a mistake. A heart. Look at the heart. Look at the heart.
Where's the heart? I want to see it.
No, it was at the natural expansion before Gummy Bear placed his natural.
Oh, I missed it. Or I was looking at it and maybe I missed it. But awesome heart play from Gummy Bear. Loving it. And there's the hatcher. I don't think that's a mistake, man. I think that's just the build. Because he got the spawning pool and queen early, which is 300 minerals, whereas Dionysus delayed both of those to get the earlier hatchery.
But he's got to attack with it, because now with the early speed, I mean, he's going to put the pressure on, because delaying that hatch to that extent, 15 hatch, 15 pool doesn't put you behind, but with what Gummy Bear or Dionysus did, I've got to believe that he's going to be ahead in workers, but maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about.
He absolutely will be ahead. Dionysus' play was much, much more economically focused, and both of those queens popping out and barfing all over those hatcheries, and that's why he's getting that spine crawler early, is to defend against any kind of early aggression. Gummy Bear now making 8 lings that will be finishing as the speed finishes up, and will probably taking those lings straight over to the base and seeing how much damage he can do, but with the spine crawler and everything else going to be done for Dionysus, he's just going to be going into this kind of mid-game or early mid-game with a commanding lead. Baneling that's as well for Dionysus. So
I feel like if he runs straight into the main and snags maybe a queen, that's worth it.
Right, speed already done for Gummy Bear, but Dionysus sees it all. He's got Overlords in position, and that's where you see 6 lings in production as well.
I feel like he played it a little too aggressively. He didn't get him out, and these queens are going to form a wall, and he's not going to do really much. Well, actually, no, he's going to deny it, mining off of a few patches at least.
He might be able to get a drone or two there, but not much else. And Baneling, that's only about halfway done for Gummy Bear, so he won't be able to make any of these Banelings. Continues to deny the mining. Some good micro here by Gummy Bear, being able to knock a couple of those drones out. But here comes the Banelings, and Dionysus is going to have none of it. Those Banelings will clean this aggression right on up. And we'll see exactly. We've got 8 drones in production for Dionysus as he tries to catch up just a little bit.
Now he's going to lose all these lanes. He's committed them in. He just wants to snag. No, actually, he's going to just walk right around. Never mind.
And that's the thing about Zerglings with speed. They can just get on out of there if they choose to do so. A couple of Banelings in production for Gummy Bear as well. Of course, you have to have those Banelings to defend. If the other player goes Banelings, you must go Banelings as well. I've said it before. It's kind of like a Cold War with ZVZ, man. Like you don't have really much of a choice.
One thing to note is that Dionysus has actually built a lot of Lings, and gonna lose some of them to the. No, Lings get into the base, gonna pull his army back, and now the rest of the Lings are gonna come through into the natural. There's no static defense here at all, but a Baneling is here.
Look at this in the main or in the natural of Dionysus, or excuse me, of Gummy Bear. Another Ling walk around will take out the Queen there. Huge victory for Dionysus, and he's forced these probes to have to attack as opposed to being able to defend. Dionysus with a really great two-pronged attack.
The drones!
Oh my gosh, he's losing so many drones. Huge damage. 14 workers killed. GG.
And you know it's over at that point, and it was sad, and I felt for him. But it was good play by Dionysus, because it wasn't like it was just, I'm going to run at them. But it was a conscious effort of trying to pull Gummy Bear's forces into his main with that smaller Link force and sneak the rest of that run into the natural, and that was a really good play by Dionysus.
So very cool stuff to see there. Pentagon is, like you said earlier, platinum, high platinum. So there is going to be a little bit of a skill gap still. Like I said, Dionysus planned at random at the Masters League.
Does he play random on Diamond?
Yeah, he plays random on Masters.
That's what I meant to say, Masters.
And he'll be a TVT.
I'm gonna introduce these players in my favorite mirror matchup. Like I said earlier, we have in the bottom left-hand corner as the Platinum Terran, playing as the Green Terran. I'm gonna say Terran twice. He is Pentagon. He is 4-9 in 1v1 Obs, 30.8% win-loss ratio, playing against Dionysus, who is a Masters level random player. Wow, that's pretty impressive, actually.
I believe his main is Zerg according to his profile, but all I've seen him play on Obs is random, and he is stupid good with every race. So
his Zerg was really nice. Dionysus Thunder cracks at his name. He is 35-10, 77.8% win-loss ratio. He's currently on an 11-game winning streak. Pentagon is on a 0-game winning streak. So I don't know how that works. Are you always on a 1-game winning streak or a 1-game losing streak? I don't know how that works. Anyway, point is that we're going to see a TVT matchup, and it's my favorite to see, and we're going to see if anybody wants to do any early aggression here in the next couple of seconds or so.
Just got these supply depots finishing up. Of course, they're going to scout right on after that. Dionysus taking the high road here. It looks like he's actually positioning for a proxy. Take a look at this, and there it is. Proxy barracks from Dionysus coming out at the third of Pentagon. So if he doesn't scout this at all, he's going to be in for quite the surprise as Marines start busting up his ramp way before he's expecting them.
Now, this is going to be a pretty big deal, especially if Pentagon doesn't realize what's happening. But once he gets into the base, he's got to know. He has to know that something is up, because there's not a single barracks in sight, and I think it's going to be Proxied Reaper or Proxied Marauder. I would bet Proxy Marauder Rush if I were a betting man.
That is probably what it's going to be. Of course, Reapers are still very good in Rings of Liberty. If you've been playing Heart of the Swarm at all, Reapers are pretty dang weak, and they don't do a lot of damage, but we'll see exactly what he decides to do here. Tech Lab coming down for that barracks, and look at this, Pentagon scouting it immediately. Really great scout here by Pentagon, so he knows what's up. He sees the Tech Lab, he sees the barracks, and he knows that he absolutely has to defend now. Going to be putting a bunker at the high ground of his own main. Very good play here. And it looks like at this point, Shockfist thinking he has to go Reaper. We'll see exactly what it is. There's the Marauder, so sorry, Shock. Mendo wins this bet.
I'll say this. I think that he's planning to go Reaper or Marauder this entire time, and maybe this bunker will. No, he's got to cancel it. I think that once that's scouted, the Reaper is the better play. I think that Shock actually has a better has the idea here. Assuming he wants to break in. Now, if he's just looking for a contain, it's totally different. But the fact of the matter is, once this is up, they're not going to be able to run up this ramp and really do the damage they need to do. So a Reaper or two back here to pull them out of the bunker is actually pretty nice. But he's not looking to do that. So the question is who's in the lead right now? I gotta say it's pretty even with the Proxy and Marauders.
Factory's coming out about the same time.
No, he's going to bring it closer. What? That's got to be a mistake. Where's it going?
Is it going into the main? That would be epic. He takes that into the corner of the main.
But why would he wouldn't accomplish anything in there?
I think actually this is just going to be a retard magnet. Think about it. You float in this, and then he pulls the units out of the bunker, and then you just attack.
But he only has one. The other Marauders are all the way back home.
Well, so far, He will actually just take one Marine, so...
Scouting factory. Yeah, it's a really expensive scouting factory, but that, I mean, that could be the basic premise of this. He's going to see the siege tech on the way, and his tech lab isn't even done in this factory, but his siege tech's probably not that much further behind. I gotta say, I feel like Pentagon is in a stronger position just because of the production time that's being lost on this initial factory. I think that what we'll see is Dionysus, he's going to actually go for Banshees after this, and that's really weird. Really weird play. I don't know that it was worth it to lose all that production time on the barracks just to try to get that scouted, because he probably had an idea of what was going on anyway, and he knows that he hasn't expanded it because he got the bunker there.
Right. So I don't know. I'm actually going to go ahead and give the lead over to Dionysus just because A, he's getting his expansion, and B, this Banshee honestly doesn't have a lot. Like, there's not a lot for Pentagon to stop it. I mean, he's got a few Marauders, and or a few Marines, excuse me, and that's about it. No engineering bay. No starport for a Viking or anything. He's just got this one tank. It will have siege mode in just a moment, which will clear this Marauder out of this bunker, no problem. But this Banshee may take him by surprise. He will have cloaking as well.
And that's going to make it a big deal, because it's with only one OC and no engineering bay, there's not going to be a whole lot of detection to speak of for Dionysus. We're going to see the expansion for him probably soon. He doesn't have the minerals for it, so I actually don't know what he's planning on doing. These tanks are going to be worthless against this Banshee, and it wasn't that big of a deal that he didn't have much production on the barracks, because he didn't want production in the barracks. He was trying to rush out this Banshee play. This Cloak Banshee play is actually going to be really strong.
There is an engineering bay about halfway done for Pentagon. I almost think that at this point he probably should have blown a scan in the main just to see what Dionysus was up to. But
he's gonna loot. He's out of position. Now the band. I don't know if he saw it. Did he see it? He did not.
I don't think he did. But here comes the barracks to pull units out, and he actually, I think he might just get lucky and see this Banshee, but I'm not sure. Cloaking almost done, and look at this. There's actually a missile turret in the main.
Oh wow, that's actually
so
really nice.
I think that was just a blind missile turret that's gonna probably save him this game, if not put him very far in the lead.
Cloak is done, but the missile turret is in position. Now the one thing this will do is really put a nice little contain on the Terran. This is Cloak, by the way.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say he needs to go ahead and blow the scan because the Banshee will be taken out. I don't think that Banshee paid for itself. The only thing. Yeah, he does have another Banshee coming in, and he will be able to probably knock out a few of these SCVs. Yes, he will. He needs to go ahead and try to pull those SCVs off of that line, because that Banshee is just going to rack up those kills and will begin to pay for itself very quickly here. Is in range of the missile thrower there, so the cloaking does not quite matter. Viking coming out, but just now moving out. He's going to have to scan.
He burned the scan, but he can't kill it.
No, I don't think that scan needed to be used there, but I think he actually had to, because he needed this missile turret to finish. But here's the problem. Double or triple orbital about to be done for Dionysus. He's making 3 SCVs at a time, and he's got his expansion. So even though all of these tanks are here for Pentagon, there's no expansion. It's just now coming up.
That Banshee got 9 kills. I think that about 7 of them were SCVs, 6 or 7. So that Banshee actually did pay for itself. And then on top of all that, the contain that allowed Pentagon or Dionysus to have on Pentagon was definitely worth it. And now these tanks are great, but without any kind of marine buffer, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And the fact that he has 3 tanks and this Banshee's still poking away is going to be more and more annoying for Pentagon, because he's going to have to burn. Oh, actually no.
Oh wow! Just got lucky there with the cloak burning itself out at the last possible second. And it looks like Pentagon is going to just try to march up here with this small army and try to win with the tanks, or at least do a lot of damage. Kind of confused there on why that Banshee got decloaked. I don't think he realized that it just ran out of energy.
Yeah, it just was out. You know, with the Viking, he has total air control here, so he can kind of leapfrog ahead, but he's just moving. It's going to be a very precarious situation here, because all he needs to do, Dionysus to do, actually he's in range of the refinery. Really nice play.
I'd have to agree. A little bit of leapfrogging here could be very strong. Dionysus, of course, the tanks can shoot farther than they can see. It looks like he's just gonna go for it. Tank's not sieged, but they're still pretty good, even not sieged up at all.
By far, he lost what, 2 tanks, and he got 4 tanks.
So Pentagon pulling drones, or excuse me, Dionysus pulling drones there, and now you can see the supply, 82 to 105. So once again, it's just that expansion. That expansion is really pulling its weight right now. And the third command center now morphing into an orbital in the main, making those 3 SCVs at a time. got Dionysus very, very far in the lead here.
And I think that the only recourse Pentagon has at this point is to try to hide another expansion, because, or try to get some other expansion up, because he's not going to ever catch up just by trying to pure macro behind this. He's too far behind.
Shock is thinking that it's going to be the micro that he needs to save his buns. Honestly, at this point, he just needs to go back to the store and buy a whole new set of buns, because the ones that he has are already beginning to mold, and there's not much he can really do to save them. And I think the only thing he really can do, like you said, is try to hide an expansion.
And now we have a lot of Hellions. We've got these tanks on the way with a couple Marauders. Now we have the Vikings for air superiority, 2 Vikings to 1. What is the total Viking number? I think that's actually all the Vikings in the field. 3 Vikings to 2, so still Dionysus having the Viking edge, so he has the air superiority edge as well. And
man, there's a dark place where all of the analogies are found, and I had to sacrifice some things to get myself there, but in the end it was worth it. I honestly don't know.
Pentagon has a Banshee himself now, but it just doesn't matter. Honestly, at this point, what Dionysus could do is just march right up into these things.
And that is exactly what he's going to do. Look at you calling the plays right before they happen. 5 tanks and a bunch of Hellions to just 2. Pentagon, not much to say other than just, well, GG. And that will be the game. Dionysus once again emerging victorious. The man whose name calls thunder from the sky. You'll lose power at your house. I have no idea what I was doing. Shut up, Dionysus. You're a Masters player. You always know what you're doing.
And that was still a relatively speaking, it was a close game, and it was way closer than what we had seen previously. So good on you guys.
I enjoyed casting it. I'd like to see some more Protoss, man.
The thunder cracks for Dionysus. That is absolutely true.
Pentagon, go ahead and getting back out. Dionysus, not to be phased, he'll decide to play another one. Who all do we still have in this game?
Oh man, I thought Kokotis, I thought you just decided to leave earlier. I'm sorry.
Do we want to?
Oh. Hey, Feely wants to get in. So after this, hey, over Speedy's on. Hell yeah. We might just bail on this one after this one game and see what we can do outside of the game, or not outside of the game, but in a new op game. See how it goes. Dr. Dilbit saying Floor kick his ass, but I don't think Floor is in the game.
I don't believe so.
But Floor, well, hopefully we could probably just snag some people what we already got and just see a new Obs game if we want. It's fine. I got a couple hours left before I have to do anything worthwhile. I'm gonna go ahead and start introducing these players that we just saw playing now as the Protoss in the bottom left corner. He's on a 2-game win streak over in this Obs, and he's on a 12-game win streak overall. He's 36-10. He calls down thunder from the sky. Thunder cracks at his name. He is Dionysus. In the top right-hand corner, we have the Green Terran, who put up an excellent fight last game, who is part of the U.S. Secret Service and Intelligence Agency. He does all the big decisions. He talks with Barack Obama on a regular basis. He is Pentagon. He is 4-10, 28.6% win-loss ratio, and he is a platinum player.
Indeed, and we're just going to see the beginning here, making that G out of the rally. I don't know if that was intended, but that was kind of neat to watch. Just happened the same thing happened with that early barracks, and of course the gateway at about the similar time. Dionysus is going to send this probe up here to do as much damage as its little probe mouth can do, and we're just going to kind of move into this. I mean, it's a little probe laser. He's just going to munch on that SCV.
So one thing to note is that I forget who was it earlier who placed their barracks a little bit closer to their it wasn't Pentagon, was it?
I believe it was Dionysus who actually placed that early barracks near his mineral line.
Was it not the orange player? Or
yeah, it was against Florencio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, who was it that played that game? It definitely wasn't Dionysus. Dionysus wasn't actually in that game.
It was some guy. He's not.
It was XFS Elite. I think it was Elite. Now that I think about it. And Exodus Elite actually placed his barracks near his main because it allowed him to defend that early barracks from building against the Protoss harass that you can do with that probe. And it looks like we're going to see the one gate expand from Dionysus, so I'm actually going to be taking notes on this one. So it's going to be Gateway and then right into Nexus and then Cybernetics Core right after that. And it looks like the early expand, the racks, one racks fax expand for Pentagon will be doing the same thing, no gas there. So maybe I'll have to try this build against you one of these days.
Well, we'll see how it goes. One thing to note is, I'm sorry your ass hurts, Florencio. I'm so sorry. Not a new, but we just rotate folks so that we can meet more cool people. That's all we're trying to do.
We actually have Tyrannus 96 is over here in my stream. What's up, Tyrannus?
Tyrannus just chilling out, doing cool shit. One thing to mention, actually, briefly, is that he built this extra, he built the second supply depot before we put the expansion down, and that's, it's not bad at all, but it actually delays the expansion. You can sneak that expansion in and then do the supply depot right afterwards, and then do the bunker later. You're not expecting early, super duper early aggression, and you saw the expansion first, so I would have loved to see that expansion come down a little bit earlier for him.
Right. And Dionysus will lose his original probe there. And a good play here, just taking this Zealot and making sure that nothing too cheesy is happening. Going to go ahead and scout around for those proxies. And it looks like both of these guys are going to be content to just sit back and macro up a little bit, chronoing all of those probes. Got the Sentry on the way for that early defense if he has to pull up into his main. And it looks like Pentagon just going to make some more barracks. No factory yet, just, the gas is just not coming down for him.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see we have double gas out of the Protoss player as well. Warp Gate about halfway finished. No more gates though, and no tech choice as of yet. Content to just macro and macro and macro, get that economy really up and going, just chronoing out probes non-stop.
And he's making a second Sentry here, so that's where the majority of his early gas is going. That's why you don't see any more tech out of him, is because it's just being used on those Sentries. And look at this, an early third Nexus for Dionysus. That's about as greedy as you can get against a Terran player. So that is actually a third at 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And then a pylon up there. And look at this Zealot continuing to scout to make sure that this goes completely unscouted by Pentagon, so that he doesn't realize just how far behind he will be getting economically. So really interesting play here, but we'll see if it pays off.
The big thing here is that, actually, I think that it wouldn't hurt to transfer some of these SCVs, and he's not oversaturated yet, I don't think, but just transferring half of them will help him out later. And then, or maybe he won't even have to do that, actually, so he can just rally this down, I'm not sure. But that's just me thinking aloud. The second thing is that with all these Marines coming across, will Pentagon realize the nature of this situation? Because I feel like these sentries can wall off this ramp in front of the natural for sure, but if they get walled off there, what's to stop them from going around and checking for a third? And then he's in trouble, because I feel like he doesn't have enough units to defend. These gateways will barely finish in time, maybe get a one warp in cycle. I think that might be what he needs.
I actually believe, like, you'd be surprised. Just take a look at this. These sentries are going to be able to do quite a lot of damage here. So there's two Marines now held, and he may do just like what you said and wrap around. It looks like that is exactly what he's going to do. But I think he's got 3 warp gates done now, 3 more about to pop. So as soon as those warp gates finish, this base will be scouted, but 3 more Stalkers warping in will hold this push off. Look at that
now
great,
he's a little bit too far in.
Great force fields, cutting those armies off, and he's just going to go ahead and attack those probes. I think that's the best decision.
That was a really good, oh well, he should have finished the probe.
And he will. Actually, a little bit of bad micro by Dionysus. He actually misclicked there somehow or another, and it allowed Pentagon to get a few more drone kills. So looks like 8 workers killed and by Pentagon, and he now realizes just how bad he's behind. Immediately drops that command center as well. So he will be trying to get back into the game with that third, but he will be behind as the chrono boost on these Nexus gets those 3 probes out at a time.
Now I feel like I don't really know who's necessarily in the full lead in this game. I feel like Dionysus is in the better position.
I actually think it was just scouted by Pentagon, this gateway tech, but I actually think that Dionysus is about to just try to make a push, a game-ending push.
Oh, and now his army's out of position. He's not at the bunker. Just salvaged it. No!
Oh no! That bunker is literally the worst timing that there could ever be. Tons of sentries here. This push is designed to just use a lot of sentries to split this army so that the DPS could never be done by Pentagon. Dionysus cleaning up the entire army. Fuck GG thrown out by Pentagon.
Bad luck, man.
That was literally...
Bad. All right, not bad.